Så prøver vi lige at teste. Yep. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Bites of Impact on order management systems. As I've identified here, the missing link in unified commerce. I will be taking you through what an order management system is and what our perspectives are on why it is the missing link in unified commerce. So first, quickly, an introduction to myself. My name is Anders Videndal, and I'm a senior solution consultant here at Impact. And I've been working digitally for 7 years of experience within digital and retail. And my areas of expertise within Impact are the solution architecture related to commerce, and also everything around operations and processes. So this is my area of expertise, and I really look forward to talking to you about more about this today. So quickly about Impact. It was established in '98 in Aarhus by Kasper Holst and his brother. And since then, the company has grown steadily with offices in Aarhus, Copenhagen, Lisbon. We're now approximately 200 consultants, which consists of strategic advisors, designers, and developers, who all offer you a detailed insights into the future of digital commerce. So basically what we think is to create a good shopping experience, we need to truly understand your business, and your customers, expectations and needs, so we can identify the underlying challenges together with you. We combine practical experience with analytical insights and solid technical expertise. We like to look at data with the insight into your customers, and based on that, we, together with you, can outline a vision for digital transformation optimization of your business so that you can meet your customers in the right channel at the right time and thereby provide value for them. So in short, Impact is a full stack consultancy specialized in commerce and digital transformation. We care about digital commerce, we care about the people involved at all stages, all the stakeholders, and we care about commercial results. And of course, we believe that by combining these three areas, we can create a big impact for your business. So in Impact, we have a broad commerce focus. So we engage both in B2C and B2B, and we have customers engaged across different verticals, different industries, with different business models, and we draw on that expertise across the board. So we acknowledge, you could say, that B2B and B2C are different disciplines, but as customers, end customers and users become more accustomed to digital channels, basically the way that users and consumers interact with digital platforms also becomes more and more aligned. And as a result, we combine the best of both worlds to support our customers on a daily basis. So we like to look at it from both perspectives and draw on those experiences that we have from these two different disciplines and all the different verticals. A quick agenda. First of all, I'll be giving you an introduction to what is order management system, what does it mean? We also use the term distributed order management system, ADOM. Essentially, it's more or less the same. There's some technical, you could say, differences. ADOM is usually looked at as a multi-tenant cloud system of an OMS. But in today's webinar, we'll just be referring to it as OMS. We'll look at OMS as the missing link in your business. We have a case from Ganni that I look forward to sharing with you. And then I'll be talking a bit about the implementation of OMS and best practices, what to be aware of, and what to take into consideration before engaging with a OMS implementation. And finally, there's going to be a Q&A session. And please feel free to write down questions as they come up. You can also use the chat or the Q&A. If you have any questions, I'll pick them up either as we go along or as right at the end. We'll see if what makes sense in terms of time and so on. All right, so moving on to an introduction to an order management system. What is it? I like to say that from my perspective, I really personally feel that it's important to take the customer's perspective. So you could say your customer's journey starts in the channel where you first meet them. And basically being able to fill their need within that channel is what I believe is going to separate you from your competitors. Is what you can offer and where you can be different in terms of, let's say, an Amazon, who only today offer one channel, which is online. But for a lot of retailers, B2B customers who have stores, it's going to be the key differentiator. All right, but what is an order management system? Basically, it's a flexible solution made for managing, selling, and fulfilling orders from any sales channel. It's really all about order orchestration. So based on highly complex processes, cost decisions, you can orchestrate your orders in the best possible way. So what it provides for you, it provides this basis for a seamless customer experience, cost reduction, and it can accelerate your customer experience time to market. Basically, you can open new channels much faster and much simpler. And all of this you can do while you're reducing an impact and dependencies towards your current master systems like ERP, WMS or warehouse management systems, inventory systems, and so on. So I believe that the OMS will be the future commerce solution, and it will play an integral role in the journey towards becoming a unified commerce player in the coming years. One thing that is important to think about today is, you could say, with the current COVID-19 situation, Corona situation, and the political influence that is happening right now and is being enforced on our consumers, and thereby also consumer behavior, is being able to change channels seamlessly, without doing large investments in your ERP, WMS, logistics. And an order management system, from my perspective, is the perfect enabler in a situation, you could say, comparable to the one that we're facing right now. Basically, an order OMS would allow you to redirect orders to fulfillment from your stores. You could be adding new warehouses, which would enable you to keep your customer promise and also retain your workforce. You could essentially start using your stores as a warehouse, and thereby also keeping your existing workforce in, let's say, in your brick and mortar stores, and use them as a warehouse operators. Moreover, you would be getting rid of inventory from your stores without having to move it to your online e-commerce warehouse or third-party logistics. So basically, it becomes more of a process change than an IT change and a cost to you. So you could say you could lower the switching costs if you have an order management system in place. Again, the order management system will become, you could say, your competitive advantage, and the one that will enable you to make the right switch when the next unpredictable force impacts retail as we know it. Corona being an example of that. An order management system also enables you to think about and realize business in new channels. So combining new ways of selling, basically. And I'll get into more detail around that a bit later. But most importantly, you can meet new customer expectations. You can adopt new delivery methods. A good example is now same-day delivery. Customers will start demanding more and more from you, and the order management system provides the basis for that offering. You could be innovative with new loyalty schemes, and you could define new ways of scoring your customer satisfaction, because you would be picking up much relevant information in your order management system that you could be pushing out to your marketing automation channels, your customer service systems, and much more. So those are some of the capabilities, but if I had to talk through all of this, I'd probably need a couple of more hours or half of your day. So today's webinar will focus on order management system and how you take advantage of your inventory, and basically how that is a key step towards a seamless experience for your customers. Basically, by being in control of your inventory, from our perspective, is what will enable you to deliver on this promise. So you could say, if you're not in full control of your inventory, then you're somewhat a step away from being able to deliver to your customers in the way that they expect. And I'm going to show you one example on next on a large consumer brand, which is Hugo Boss, who you could say are showing signs and indications of omnichannel unified commerce capabilities, but there's still quite a way to go in terms of delivering a great customer experience. And I'll show you here. So here I'm just setting the scene. I'm going to a New Year's party and I want to find a fitting suit that I have seen on Instagram, so different channel, as I was browsing for inspiration on this New Year's trends. And personally, I'm a bit of an impatient consumer, so I prefer to do click and collect when shopping with my favorite brands. And you could say, as a result of this, the commerce solution of showing store inventory online is a key selling point for me. I can see, okay, this is online, this is in stock online, but I also want to know where can I find this, go and try it on. I like to try on suits, shoes before I buy. And I think that's very common for most consumers. All right, so here it's a small video of me browsing the American store of Hugo Boss. I'm based in New York now, just for the simplification here. And I'm finding my right size. I'm going to view the details. I run down to see, okay, yes, I can pick it up, but I can actually also find in store, which is what I want to do for click and collect. I've made sure it's the right color, size. I've entered my location, it's been picked up automatically. And I now see, great, please call our store to reserve this product. So I click at the store details and I can see what the business hours are, and I can see the phone number. But this isn't really what I was expecting. I was expecting to see, all right, they have the product, I need to get it today. So I want to go down to the store and pick up that suit. I want to click and reserve it and collect it, or buy online and pick up in store. Both capabilities, not really anything that I can do here. So you could say, what is then my alternative? Is I would probably look at someone else who has that offering. Either someone who can do same day delivery, or someone who offers a reserve and collect, which could be a different player in the market. That I know are also selling Hugo Boss stores. If I was in the US, I'd probably pick Amazon. They have maybe even a better price, and they have same day delivery, or even delivery within the hour. So you could say this is really a classic case of utilizing inventory data for a service, but it's really siloed in one way. It's information that is stored in a POS or ERP or in their warehouse management, but it's all stored in a silo or in a simple database where they've basically consolidated information on what products are online or are available in store, sorry. But then I can't really act on it as a consumer. And what this tells me as an expert within this field is that they don't have an order management system, and even if they do, I would say it's in poor shape in terms of utilization. It also tells me that Hugo Boss doesn't really have that full control of their inventory. If they are saying that they have the size available in store, but they're still telling me call the store, that is also an indication for me that they have low confidence in their inventory in store actually. So the store associate would actually need to go down, check in the POS system, is it the latest inventory information, or even go down and check the rack to see if it's there, and then reserve it for me. And they still can't be sure that I'll come down and pick it up, right? I haven't made any commitment to the purchase. So you could say Hugo Boss are really just trying to cater for an experience that I would expect from any retailer today. But all this is really doing is generating more calls to a store, which is more work for your store associates. Again, they have a POS system with low confidence. And yeah, that's just not really a great experience for me as a consumer, but it's also annoying that your sales clerks have to run around and check if something is available for the customer to buy, and then put it aside, and maybe that customer doesn't come down. Maybe someone else would have bought it, but it's been removed from the rack. So you missed double, you've missed twice, you could say you've missed a sales opportunity. And you could say Hugo Boss don't really, I checked this this earlier in the year, about 6 months ago, and it hasn't changed. So what that's showing me is that there also really isn't a commitment or a roadmap for them to actually unfold the experience. So why are they just going 25% of the way? Why not going, you could say, go 100%? Think it through to the end. That would have been a great customer experience for me. So ultimately, you could say this brings no value to me as a customer. And they might as well just have put in a CTA that says, instead of finding a store, call your nearest store for status on this item. Would have saved me more clicks, and I would have known upfront that that this was what I could expect, and I wouldn't have to go through all these steps just to find out that I had to call the store. Okay, so this is really not. This is how not to do it, you could say. So let's look at what you need to do in order to succeed with great customer experiences, and how an order management system is the best enabler for resolving, you could say, the issues that I just pointed out from Hugo Boss here. So just before I get into it, I want to tell you that some of the latest research shows that actually 30% of retailers don't have any plans to upgrade their systems, like the item master data management, stock replenishment, so inventory allocation, again, the order management, you could say price management, promotion management for the next 24 months. To me, that's a bit disturbing with the news that Gartner is sharing with us here. And you could also say more research also shows that retailers are missing sales are missing sales to their competitors. And in 2018, we saw that was because customers are making a purchase elsewhere, because you as a retailer or retailers weren't actually showing what was available to sell, what they had online, offline, in the different channels. And you can say, if you add that to the recent anxieties that customers have about queuing, you could say it's really clear how crucial it is to leverage technology that streamlines these processes and these experiences. So I would say don't be part of those 30% that are not investing in new systems and processes, and stop belonging to the group of retailers in that research that are missing out on sales. Instead, let's look at OMS and how that is one technology combined with great processes that can make sure you are not a part of that statistic. So I want to start with the customer journey, and this is the way we like to look at the customer journey. I have inspiration from some of the latest research from CBS, from Ringberg, and basically what they're saying is, in each of these different steps, so awareness, consideration, purchase, service, and loyalty, we today as customers are exposed to different triggers, which means today we're much more likely to come in and out of this cycle, you could say, or this loop that the customer experience today represents. The customer journey represents. So I wanted to take that and I want to look at it from an order management perspective. And you can say, mistakenly, a lot of people are actually looking at order management as something that happens after the buy button. So order orchestration. But from my perspective, it's important to look at that and say that an order management actually supports all steps of the customer journey in one way or another. And just want to give you some quick examples. One is the awareness. Basically, what you can do with an OS is you can deliver inventory feeds to your different marketing channels. So you can ensure that what you're promoting on Google Shopping, Instagram Shopping, probably very soon TikTok and other channels. You can basically say these items are in stock, I have them available. So these are the ones that you should promote on Google Shopping. It's very annoying to be showing a Google Shopping feed for something that is out of stock. That's just going to let down your customers. The consideration phase, basically you can ensure that customers, that items that they have looked at, maybe an abandoned basket and so on, are still available. So when you send them an email or you send them an SMS or you're retargeting them through social media, again, show them items that are available to buy. Don't show them something that they actually can't get a hold of. And you can also use different recommendation engines can also receive inventory, again, making sure that the recommendations that you are offering are also in stock. Of course, there's the purchase. It supports, the order management system supports online, in-store, marketplace, dropship, a lot more. I'll get back to that specifically. You could say for all these different capabilities, the order management system has you covered. So basically you can meet the customers in any channel with an order management system and with the right inventory numbers. From a service perspective, I think we're now after the buy button. The OMS will basically tell you who, what, when, and where that order is and what is its current status. And you can be pushing that information out to your different systems and to both to your customers, but also to your customer service desk. And basically what that allows you to do is to instate the right triggers for follow-up. So you can be sending out the right emails, the right upsell and cross-sell, the right surveys, and you can make sure you get the right carrier details. So basically, where is my order right now? Track and trace, both when you're sending out, shipping your goods, but also when customers are returning an order. If you get that information back from your carrier that they've picked up the return, that is a great service. And I'll get back to an example that I recently experienced in that area. And finally, there's loyalty. You basically will have a full overview of your customers' purchases. Again, that will enable you to offer better customer service. And basically, the next time they stop by your shop or online, they know that what you're actually showing is something that you have available to them. And what that means to them is that they feel comfortable that whatever they need and whichever channel they decide to purchase in from you, they can do that in any channel. So that will greatly increase your loyalty with your customers. I think most importantly is you can send great follow-up marketing with a consolidated view of your customers' order history, and again making sure you send the right relevant recommendations. I'll share one example I had with a Quad Lock, which is an iPhone case that fits your bike and car and everything. And something that has made me look away from them is they keep sending me the same emails with the stuff that I've already bought. And that to me is a clear indication that they don't have a perfect insights into their order history. And they're definitely not sharing it with their marketing automation tool, because they keep retargeting me with something that I have already purchased. If they had combined their order history and marketing automation through an order management system, that wouldn't be the case. So, but I'll get back to that. So if we look at this more holistically, you could say, as the founder of Suit Supply said, he said, all right, if I have a suit hanging somewhere, I want to sell it, right? And I don't care which shelf it is on. If a customer is asking for that specific suit, I want to sell it to her or him. And I think that is exactly the right mindset to start a unified commerce strategy and execute on it. And the order management system is the enabler for that. So now I'm going to deep dive, as I said, on inventory, and I'll look at two phases here. I'll look at purchase and service. So we'll zoom in on these two areas now, and then we'll look at inspiration sorry, and if you're looking for inspiration on loyalty, awareness, and consideration, those areas, if you're very interested in those areas, then you should please reach out to me. My details will be at the end, how to get in touch. And then I'm very happy to have a discussion with you on how you can move forward with those areas as well. But I would also just like to say that if you're looking at OMS and if you're looking at unified commerce, you should of course, be looking at all of them, because this is where your customers are and this is what they're expecting from you. So, all right, so let's try and get inspired by some of the offers that order management systems have with regards to purchase and service. So some of the classic purchasing scenarios that are supported by an order management system is the buy online and pick up in store. So these are commonly also referred to as click and collect and reserve and collect. Another one is buy online and return in store. Not something that I have come across that much in the industry, in retail. But I think it's a great service, and you can see here Amazon has a drop-off for returns actually within a department store. So that could likely be again an experience that they're offering and buying from let's say it could be a department store like Fields or somewhere else, where they actually start putting up drop-off desks and can instigate customer service even though you bought online with them. So that's one way of them engaging in offline and becoming a brick and mortar store as well. Then there's the browse in store on mobile and buy online. This is very common for a lot of customers. Checking prices when they're in store, checking availability, and then actually looking for a better price online maybe than what they find in store, but they actually tried it on and then they go home and make the decision at home. And buy online. So basically it's important that if I browse the store and I find sizes and I'm considering and I want to buy, then you could say the customer journey can both begin and end in your store, but it can also be great, or it will be great if you're also showing that the same inventory online that you have in store is actually key. So the customer doesn't have to decide then and there, but can make the purchase when they have gone through the consideration phase and are ready to buy. So meeting that right trigger. And then there's the buy in store, ship to home, also known as endless aisle, where you're showcasing the different sizes, different colors. Here you can see it's a screen actually showing different shoe sizes and different colors that you may not be offering in a specific store for whatever reason. But you actually want to close the sales then and there with the customer. And this is something that I've come across a lot of places. Impact has done some cases for this with some of our existing customers with these in-store screens where you can buy in store and ship to home. All right, so order management is also about orchestration of orders. So it's handling the different scenarios, the different handling scenarios from that an order management system supports. One of these is ship from store. Basically what that allows you to do is it allows you to route your orders to the nearest store if they have that item on hand for delivery, either immediately or if you don't have it in your e-commerce warehouse. Usually there's a smaller cost associated to shipping from your warehouse than having a sales clerk walk down and do ship from store. But it's better to send the product from your store than rejecting the sale online because you don't have it in stock in your warehouse. Dropship is a different, is a way of connecting your store with other suppliers' inventory. And what that basically means is you can avoid inventory sitting in your warehouses with additional costs. It also allows you to sell different items that you may want to sell. One example I can think of is Imerco, who are selling larger items that they can't stock in their e-commerce warehouse, and they're basically pointing to a dropship supplier. So you basically check out on the website. The order is routed to to the supplier, and they handle the entire order. Then there's the split order delivery. Sometimes you would need to deliver an order from multiple locations. This of course goes well in hand with the ship from store. And when inventory is available at different locations, then splitting an order is a capability that the order management system supports. And again, you can keep that customer promise with shorter delivery times, reduce costs of stock sitting on a shelf, which you're not selling. Again, want here to refer to the case of Suitsupply, and where you basically say, if you have it, sell it, right? Split the order, make sure that it arrives on time, and that you're not waiting for it to be replenished at your e-commerce warehouse. The Hugo Boss example, store inventory online. This is a great way of driving customer traffic to stores by basically showing them which stores have the inventory for the product they need. Again, here thinking about the Hugo Boss example and what was flawed in the experience from a customer perspective. That's really that they're telling me to call the store to make sure that the stock is there, right? That gives me low confidence as a customer. If you're displaying store inventory online, you need to be sure that it's there. Otherwise, you are making a bad customer promise. All right, so that was how an order management system, very briefly, how that impacts the purchase and order handling scenarios. Now I want to look at what customer service does. So basically, it allows you to do order on behalf, which allows customer service to take over the customer basket, support the finalization of the purchase, also referred to as an omni basket. So basically, you can utilize this also for business to business. You can use it as a quotation tool where you sample an order and you send it via an email, send a link in an SMS or via app. And I would say this has really high utilization value across channels and the business, that you can create an order and finish it on behalf of the customer. Order management systems usually offer that capability out of the box as well. Again, you can do cross and upsell. Customer service can offer recommendation based on your customer's history, previous baskets, in both online and offline purchases, because you have one consolidated view of sales. You have a full overview of the order history, like I said, what the customer has placed, returned, which discounts they received, and basically what has happened with this customer. You can handle returns, exchanges, and refunds in the order management system. Again, orchestrating everything around the orders. Back to the buy online, return in store. You have your payment providers connected to your order management system instead. Allows you to do refunds without leaving, let's say, less of a headache for your finance department in terms of knowing, okay, this was bought online, but it was returned in store, different terminals. Just one big consolidation mess in finance. And it will improve your single customer view. Basically, there's no more looking up customers in multiple systems to figure out the status of the order, which items they're purchasing, getting out of ERP, CRM, e-commerce, different marketing tools and customer service tools. With the OMS, you can integrate all of this. You can either have one view in the order management systems. They have most of them come with a really nice interface that gives you this overview, but you can also use APIs, and you can have all that information that you have stored in the OMS shipped into your service portal. So, and we have done this with some of our customers, where we've actually adapted that into the Salesforce Service Cloud, just as an example. So customer service is just looking in one place to get all that information that they need on orders and the history related to that. All right. So you're probably thinking now, okay, this really sounds, I hope you're thinking that this sounds great, but so how do we really get there? And what I want to ask you to do right now is just, now I've been talking for a lot, so just reflect for a couple of minutes on what the current situation for your inventory is, and what are the current gaps that you know in your system landscape, and what are some of the general challenges that you see in those in those systems or in your processes. Do you have examples? Could be an old ERP system, your data isn't consolidated. It's you could say a lack of support from the organization leadership. Maybe you have some very silo channels, B2C versus B2B, stores versus online, a franchise model, distributor model, different things that can affect this. And I'll encourage you just to write down a couple of these, and I hope you will ask questions related to these notes at the end in our Q&A. Or at least, if you don't have any questions, just think about it, these areas and what I've just told you now in the future, because it will be a key element. All right, so how do we move forward with this? Here's what you could say typically see in our in a customer technology stack and IT architecture. And I think it's really what is stopping you from getting anywhere with these capabilities that I just touched upon. Basically, you don't have an overview of your inventory in one system. Your inventory is distributed and allocated to each channel, right? So it's siloed. And what that means is you have to send your customers away to a different store, or even call your partner store and retrieve the item and tell your customer, hey, come back tomorrow. I'll have it shipped over from that store. And not really sure a customer would come back tomorrow. You can't be sure, right? You're letting them go. You can ask them to go online and buy the item, or worst case, you might actually end up recommending a competitor. This has certainly happened a couple of times. Yeah, we don't have it, but I know X has it a few blocks down. Basically, you're not seeing what your customer purchases are across your channels. So one way you may want to solve this is by you're trying to tie your channels together in your BI system. And I've worked with this as well, specifically where you're trying to get some kind of data consolidated, but it's not really great. And all it's doing is just showing you, okay, this customer spent X amount of kroner or money in this channel, but you're really tying together silos. And what you have to do then is you have to make sure that you maintain those connectors. And my question back to you would then be, what happens if you change your warehouse management system? What happens if you change ERP, get a new POS system? Where does all that historical information go? And how do you ensure that you keep it and tie it together? That would come at a big cost, both from a data perspective, but also an investment perspective. So a third question could be, what are you doing when you're planning your inventory allocation? How do you do that today? Are you sure that you're getting the right sizes, the right colors, materials, the right items for each of your stores? And when I say stores, it's both online and offline, so brick and mortar stores. Do you know what the demand is going to be in each of these stores based on historical sales data? And do you have real-time data on what products your customers are asking for in each channel? You know, a customer might be browsing for something online, but you can't tell them and give them that same recommendation when they're in store, even though they might actually be expecting that in the future. Another thing that I like to ask is if you're actually collecting data on the most searched items on website, and are you showing search results online that reflect your inventory as well? So when I do a search on your website, are you showing me the most relevant results plus the inventory status in the way they're ranking, or are you just showing me the relevant result, but actually the product is out of stock? That's just a bad customer experience as well. Yeah. So what we're trying to do here is, you could say, consolidate, right? And this is an image of what I was just trying to explain. You have multiple truths of your inventory. It's sitting in your warehouse management system, in your POS system, e-commerce, and maybe even some third-party suppliers that you don't have insights to. You know you've sold X amount of items to them, but you don't know what they have in stock. You know what they've sold because you get that back in a consolidated report, but you don't know what is actually still available to sell in. Then you have different locations. You could have multiple warehouses that again have different levels of inventory. You have stores, web shops, and it could be in different markets, across markets. So just think about where your inventory sits today, and and think about what are the costs related to handling inventory in each of these channels and systems. You can then look at what are your lost sales opportunities, and how often do you reject or let down a customer, either online or offline, because you don't have the item available to sell in the channel. Those are very important questions to ask yourself and actually find out, because that tells you something about how many customers you're disappointing. And I know it's a painful question to ask yourself, but if you had an OMS implemented, you wouldn't be asking yourself this question, basically, because you could say the job of that is to know the answers to those questions. OMS, it's one truth for inventory. And you could say, where did locations go? Well, locations aren't really interesting anymore from a technical perspective. What they're, of course, still relevant to talk about locations, because you're starting, when you're doing OMS implementations, you're starting to think about the processes and determining what the order orchestration looks like. And those are some of the things that actually, you'd say the main point of this is looking at OMS very holistically and accepting that it's a lot of stakeholders. So one final important aspect, you could say, of integrating OMS is the order process handling and defining what the fulfillment rules are, and the change management that is tied to this. So you could say getting order management system, getting that right and doing it right, is to focus less on the technical aspects, but first and foremost, you need to look at your customers' needs and then build the right processes around that, which in then can be supported by the right technology. So as I like to say, you'd say order management system implementations is really about process, and then technology as the foundation. Great. So now we have the order management system in place. It's our one truth for our inventory, and basically that allows us to scale. So now you can start expanding your fulfillment capabilities. You can expand your categories, you can expand services, products, and you can introduce new selling points. The obvious one is, of course, your e-commerce platform. That's the most obvious channel, and probably it's usually the first instance that we connect an order management system to, for doing all the order handling and tying that together with the internal applications. Then there's the internal applications that are affected are typically ERP, WMS, BI, business intelligence, and customer service applications. It allows for integration to suppliers, wholesale and distributors. Typically, this is EDI. So a lot of our customers use that today for order handling and invoice management. But if you want to get full perspectives of, and you want to enable the likes of dropship, let's say made to order with an order management system is a great place, or is a key system for supporting that. As I said, it's the social selling. So social platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Google Ads, and shopping all require feeds for stock availability at a SKU level. That's where you're pushing. It's where people search for products today is Google, and probably very soon Amazon as well. Then there's your own and operated stores, right? You want to be able to support buy online, pick up in store, buy online, return in store, ship from store, these endless aisle capabilities, and getting that online view of inventory in store. The order management system has you covered from that perspective. You can integrate it with apps that support selling. You can say we see shopping and loyalty apps, they're progressing rapidly, but they also require an inventory feed. It's usually the same as the web shop, but there might be other applications for the inventory feed for your app. Then we have the likes of marketplaces. Amazon just launched in Sweden recently, but you have Boozt, Zalando, others, which you might want to connect to your order management system as well. If you're selling via marketplaces, you can keep an eye on inventory levels there as well, how the order is being handled, get that information back into your system. So you're actually seeing what is happening. Even though it's happening on their platform, you can still track it within that system. One of the really cool things that I think an order management system does is basically allows you to think further than just selling. It's also about, an example could be in-store booking of personal shopper. So an order management system can handle these types of I say products, so services, value-added services, and you can offer that to your existing customers. You can reserve the products online, have them all lined up in store with a personal shopper, and get styled recommendations. And you say, and then you can buy all items in store, or you can add those maybe online exclusives that you're selling to the order with the help of your personal shopper. So you can see the room for innovation and consumer experience I would say, are almost endless within OMS, and it basically provides an opportunity for you to, as a brand, to diversify yourself from the competition. Because let's say Amazon, they don't have stores yet, at least. All right, so Ganni and New Store, just a quick walkthrough of what we did with them. Quick introduction: Ganni is a Danish fashion brand with a global presence, and they have a clear goal of becoming a leading global fashion brand. And Ganni proclaim themselves as the technology firm that does fashion, which is a very interesting perspective, and I really like that idea and that approach. And you could say that goes very well with New Store, which they chose as a partner for their OMS and POS integration. And New Store is an omni-channel technology that was built in 2015 by the founder of Demandware, today called Salesforce Commerce Cloud, Stefan Schambach, and he had a vision to become the leading technology in retail. So New Store combines order management and retail technology, such as a mobile POS, endless aisle, and all the capabilities that are tied to that, and what he believes is required to become a leading retailer. So from my perspective, it's quite clear to see how these two companies, in terms of strategy and vision, are very well aligned and a great match. So what we did together with Ganni New Store here at Impact is we assessed the market for Ganni based on a set of requirements for OMS and POS that we defined in collaboration. And we identified 2 vendors to pursue. We built a business case around it. We identified the architecture. Like I said, that's a very important piece of this is getting the right architecture in place, making sure you have those systems well integrated. And then we recommended a phased implementation based on, of course, dialogue with Ganni that supported the organizational changes, the return on investment, and the overall business strategy for store rollouts and e-commerce. And we have had a great successful implementation on time, within budget, and stores have been going live in the US first, and most recently in Denmark. So really a great story on that. And some of the benefits that they got out of this is clienteling. You can do the upsell, cross-sell. On the mobile POS, they have those features. They have available the endless aisle capability available, so ship to home from store. You can return in store. You can click and collect. You can reserve the store, and you can and ship from store. Those are some of the benefits that are coming. Not all have been implemented, but they're looking at that as a phased approach. Again, it's about getting the processes and the organization in place to support that as well. And basically what that did was it elevated the customer service to a conversational selling and reporting, and what they saw that actually plus 60% in customer data collection. They saw an increase in customer data collection by 60% compared to only 7% on their old POS system. So they're now getting a lot more data on the customers because they're engaging and doing a conversational selling with this mobile POS and the capabilities that OMS gives them. And it also offers them a scalable platform to extend these capabilities, like I said, within the different stages of the customer lifecycle. And then they can move forward progressively in a phased approach when the business and process and business is ready to support that. All right. A brief touch on OMS selection implementation. The strategy and predictions that we see, you could say there's some consideration post-corona. Identify the current pains in your order process. Try and understand your customer needs and the desires for what those experiences are in this instant gratification services in a new normal world. And based on these insights, try to identify how your organization needs to adapt to this. And by that, you of course need to look at what are then the aspects of change management, what are the process, which technology do you need to invest in to support your customers and needs and those expectations that they have to you. So think about the process and then identify and choose technology to support those processes. And this is what we at Impact are very good at, and it's what we of course would like to help you with. And some of the predictions that we see for 2021 is that unified commerce is going to be a key strategic goal for retailers and brands, and consumers basically demand it. You could say brick and mortar stores will be more focused on delivering experiences. It will become more and more of a showroom, and your customer experience will need to be at the forefront. There's some great articles on our website that shows you this, that my colleague Caroline has done from Adidas in London and so on, which are great examples of that, where they're actually taking that customer experience to a new level. You'll have multiple data points, both structured and unstructured data, that can empower your store staff and customer service to deliver on a great customer experience and drive loyalty. I believe that apps will be the new norm in retail. If we think about the new generation, they're growing up with apps. There's millions and millions and millions of downloads of apps, and you can get way more access to data via apps than you can on web. And I think that's going to be a key differentiator and something you should be considering and thinking about. Finally, there's the customer acquisition online. You could say the more people move online, the more and more expensive it's also going to be to mature your online presence. It's just going to be more expensive to try and move customers towards your platform because the competition increases greatly when more people are moving online. So if you start moving more of that to your brick and mortar stores with the experiences, you can actually drive the customer acquisition costs down, and then you can provide a brilliant customer experience that surpasses your customers' expectations. I think that's going to be some of the predictions for 2021 and where you can differentiate yourself. All right, next slide is just some of the best practices for OMS implementations. It's about architecture. Make sure that features should be moved from your current order handler in phases. Don't do big bang implementations. We always recommend that deployment is done in 3 steps. A pilot, make sure that all the change processes are in place and that you have a scope for your MVP. And then, second step is a fully functional scope of MVP for OMS, and then a full order management rollout. Resources is a very important topic. You need to set a team with where the key focus is on OMS. Make sure that the team's capabilities match the project. There's a lot of stakeholders involved, as you may have already seen based on all this information. And then try and understand that the business landscape changes over the course of a project. There's a scope. Make sure you're looking at the right return on investment. Make sure the implementation is owned by you as a business and with a supporting partner for best practices. And then there's a change management aspect. There's a lot of people involved. It's going to affect, think about how they will be affected by these changes as well. And then finally, I would say always think from a customer perspective and think it through until the end. This was a friend of mine, Rudy Geiger, who is the MD for Europe on Newstore. He said, think it through and execute it 100%. Don't do like Hugo Boss, where it's just 25% of the way. And that wraps it up in a Q&A. So please feel free to ask questions that you may have. And again, if you're interested in seeing an order management system demo, then basically what does it look like from an editor perspective or user perspective, then you can find some great videos on YouTube by Salesforce. You can also reach out to me, and I can take you through some different OMS vendor demos that we have lined up. So I hope that you have some questions for me. So one question here, does the OMS completely take over ownership of stock data? Not necessarily, but it can consolidate it. It can do that, but there are different aspects of it. I think what is important is that the order management system has the information. So it basically knows where stock is situated. So it knows how much inventory you have down in your store, online, or with a third-party supplier. It doesn't have to own the stock, but it consolidates the data in one system, so it can do the order routing and make sure that you can fulfill your orders in the best possible manner. So it will know where all your stock is located, but it doesn't necessarily have the ownership. I hope that answered the question. Are there any more questions? Anything that you're considering today in your business, something that you find challenging, I'll be happy to give my input on that as well. All right, I don't see any more questions coming up, but if something comes up afterwards or you want to have a chat, I hope you enjoyed this webinar on order management systems, and I hope it gave you some perspective on some of the opportunities that it offers. Then feel free to reach out to me. You can contact me. My information is here. You can also find me on LinkedIn. Send me a message there if you have anything else. And then I'll just point attention to that we have a lot of webinars on demand. We have a lot more data and insights on our website. So go check that out under our knowledge base, impact.dk/viden. There you can also find some great articles on customer experiences, how stores, the leading stores are doing that today. And with that, I would like to say thank you for watching, and hope to speak to you again very soon. Have a nice day.